Welcome to Jurgen's Journeys. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you're new to camping and RVing, you might enjoy this little series that I'm doing called Tips for Trips. Today, what I'm going to talk about is this screen tent that I have. This is called the Northern Breeze screen tent. It's by Eureka, and I will provide some links to some of the things that I'm showing you down in the description below the video. So feel free to check these things out on Amazon. A lot of folks carry a screen tent for different reasons. You've got shelter from rain and sun, and it really provides a lot of good usable space. We have a 22-foot camper, and this right here about doubles our living space. If we're going to set up and stay for a week or so, I always put up the screen tent. This particular screen tent is designed to shed water. Not all screen tents are made for shedding water. I had one, paid a lot less money for it, but the first rain that came along, it about collapsed. I actually had to cut holes in the roof to keep it from falling down in the middle of a storm. It was not ideal. So make sure you get a good one that will actually shed water if it rains. So it adds a lot of space. Another reason that I carry a screen tent was because we had a big dog for many years, and he traveled everywhere we did. And there's nothing worse than traveling with a big wet dog. So we made every effort to try to keep him dry, and this was the perfect solution for that. So it's a good place to keep a pet. This thing's big enough to put over any state park or federal park picnic table, and so that's another benefit. You can enclose your eating area, your food preparation area. Keeps the bugs out. You can enjoy sitting out here looking at the beautiful outside without getting eaten up alive by mosquitoes and horseflies and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of good uses, many good reasons for carrying a screen tent. And it really doesn't take much in the way of tools. Now, as I show you how to put this screen tent up, which you may be very interested in that if you've got one of these, or if you're thinking about getting one of these Eureka tents, you might want to see how they go up. But one of the things I always carry in the van for camping is a rake. Well, and I've got a link to this down at the bottom, but it expands very easily, and it opens up, and you can make this thing as wide or narrow as you wish. Anyway, this is something you ought to carry regardless of whether you're tent camping or trailer camping. This is a perfect little expandable leaf rake. So I clear the area first with this. Only other tool I need is something to hammer tent pegs with. This is, that's a no-brainer. For any kind of tent, you're going to need a hammer. So, and everything else pretty much comes with the tent. So without any further ado, let me show you how I put this large, sturdy screen tent up. To begin with, I take the bottom tarp, which is the full size of the tent. It's actually an option for this tent. You buy it separately, but it's a heavy-duty nylon floor. It's not a cheap plastic that'll dry rot in 2 years. This is a heavy nylon floor, and so I get it out, figure out the approximate size, rake out the sticks and rocks. Then I open it up and just tack the four corners so it doesn't slide around while I'm working. Then I assemble the poles. Then, after you've assembled your poles, laid out the tarp, then you get out your tent roll. You open it up on the tarp, so you're keeping it clean right from the get-go. Just make sure you turn it the way you want it. You have doors or zippers on two opposite ends, and they will open completely. The other two sides are permanent screens with flaps that will open up, or which will actually make an awning if you want. So this is a very versatile tent. It opens up completely for a screen room. It closes completely for a tent. And then it's got everything in between. Partially open, partially closed, awning, no awning. I mean, you will absolutely love a screen tent like this Eureka Northern Breeze. Well made and durable. So anyway, you get your ends where you want them. All right, then I suggest you tack your corner posts, your tent stakes, on the four corners, whether you use a gutter nail or a yellow spike that comes with it. Either way, just kind of loop that into place. That'll help the whole thing keep from shifting around while you're trying to set this up. This is in addition to the tarp tacks that you've got down. There's a larger stake that goes for the corner. You loop the four corners of the tent. Position them at the corners. There's a little pin at the corner loop of the tent, a little metal pin, and your pole slips right over that pin, and that keeps the whole thing in position. And then you position the tent poles so that you can attach it to the four-prong centerpiece, which is permanently attached to the top of the roof. It doesn't come loose from the tent. You attach your poles to that, and you clip at least the first clip that goes on the pole near the top, because you won't be able to reach it after you've raised the poles. The next step is the hardest part. You will notice there are little loops on each corner, and down the ridge of each corner there are a couple of plastic clips. soon as I've got it up high enough where I can, I'll clip in the other little plastic clips and tie the corner to the little corner hook on the pole. So you raise the poles, you slip it onto that pin, and you're pretty much done with the assembly. That's the hardest part. For two people wouldn't have a bit of trouble raising this tent. And then once you've got it erected, then you go back to your corners, position them more accurately, make sure not to pull them out too far or too tight. If you do, the zipper will be too tight, your floor won't fit well, so make sure you pull it in just a little bit on the corners so that you're not too tight on the overall setup. Then stake it down real good. You've got stakes for all four corners, you've got stakes for the middle of each side wall, and then you've got some more poles and string and spikes for the awning, which you may put on any one of the four sides. Wherever you want the awning, you can easily put that up. So this makes into a great space. And taking it down is much easier than putting it up. The main thing is, what I always do is clean it off real good first, take the poles off, and with the corners still in place, kind of position all the screens. Make sure your screens are zipped shut when you pack it up. Otherwise, it'd be more difficult to set it up next time. So zip everything shut, and then fold the lengthwise so that you can turn it into a single roll and stuff it in a bag that they provide for you. And your poles are the same way. I mean, they just come apart just like that. And once you're done, make sure you've got all your pegs. Don't leave any pegs sticking in the ground. I like to use gutter nails, large, heavy-duty spikes, rather than the plastic or nylon spikes that they provide. Not that they're not adequate, but if you've ever camped on a gravel pad, some of the state parks have nice graveled surfaces, but they put down a layer of crush and run that you just can't put a plastic stake through. So if you get a serious steel spike, you're much better off. And they don't cost much, $1 a piece or $2, I don't know, but I invested in those. So anyway, that's how I do it. And I hope this video was of some help to you. I hope you can, glean something from the assembly and setup process. And my advice to you today is, when you go camping, be prepared. Take along an extra room. Even if you're in an RV, it's always a good idea to have a screen tent along. So that's just my way of thinking. And I'm glad you joined me today. I appreciate you stopping by. I invite you to subscribe if you haven't already done that. Give me a thumbs up if the video was helpful to you at all. And at any rate, until our next time, may all your journeys be safe. May God bless you.